Well, welcome to Meet the Maker. This is a show where we interview different fiber artists in the community, sponsored by Jada Designs. Today we have Selah from Bigfoot Yarns. Welcome.
Hello.
And I just need all the viewers to know that this is pretty special. You should feel privileged. This is an exclusive right here, okay? So listen in and please enjoy. This is pretty special. Okay, so to start out, just tell us who you are and just kind of give us a brief synopsis of your fiber origins.
Well, my name's Selah, and I've been dyeing yarn since 2017, um, but not full time. So I used to work in an emergency department, and I'd get home and need to decompress somehow. So I started knitting, and then I started spinning because it's a rabbit hole. And then I decided I needed to dye it because I was bored with what I had, and I was bored with all the yarn that I could find in the shops. So I started dyeing with cabbage, and I think I might have used some Kool-Aid packets in there somewhere. And then I just bought like some basic acid dyes and tried it. And one of my friends bought a skein off of me at the hospital, and she's like, you should just do this. So I started doing it on weekends when I was off. And yeah, and then in 2020, I quit the hospital.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice. So, I have to ask, please share with the cabbage. I'm so interested. Why cabbage?
Because cabbage is a natural dye,
Ah,
and the color is affected by the acidity of the water.
the
So
science.
yeah, so if you
Yeah.
add like vinegar to it, you're gonna get a pink color, and if you add ammonia, you'll get blue.
Pretty cool, right?
Spoken like a true dyer. Okay, well, I appreciate that. I was just so curious. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Um, so Bigfoot Yarns. Tell us the origins of that. Like, where did that name come from? And
Uh,
we know which parts.
so I was at work, and I was just trying to brainstorm some ideas, and I wanted something that was very Pacific Northwest. And
Nice.
I kind of like the creepy, crawly nature of where we live. And so I figured that why not? And I looked, and there wasn't another one, so I did it.
And you created your logo.
No, my first logo, I actually had have a friend who used to work for Hallmark. So most of
Oh,
the cards you
wow.
see in the store, she designed. And so I had her do that logo, and I am currently phasing it out because it's been what, 8 years. And I just had Sarah from Denim and Rain do my new logo that I will be debuting at Fiber Fusion.
Oh, great. What is your setup at your place
Do you want
at
to see it?
Bigfoot Yarns?
Do you want
I
to see it?
mean, hey, we
Yeah,
have no boundaries here, please.
I'll just carry you because I work outside. So
that's perfect.
this is my backdrop.
No.
And yeah, here is my setup here. So I just work
Oh, wow.
on a table on my porch.
Nice.
I'm currently dyeing.
I
Wow.
love it.
So that's my setup. I get to watch the sheep all day when I'm working.
Wow.
Work upstairs. I have a little mini kitchen upstairs, and I used to do that, but it was just too crowded and the lighting wasn't great. And it's really hard. I dye a lot of dark colors, and it's just getting too hard to see it indoors. So I moved out here, and it's awesome. I love dyeing outside now.
Well, that was a real treat. I mean, thank you for that. I mean, that is exclusive stuff. What is that word exclusive again, isn't it? Let's all remember how special this is. Um,
Totally.
Next question. Um, does Bigfoot Yarns have a mission statement?
No.
If you had to conjure up one, what would be the core of that? What are your core
Oh,
beliefs and values for your business?
You're coming at me with some hard questions, William.
Hard hitting stuff.
I know, I know. I don't know. Like I'm just winging it. and I'm just kind of how I wing life. And so I guess maybe my core value would be don't be afraid to wing it.
I like it. Let's go ahead and get that copyrighted and get it on the t-shirt, bro.
Because
I
honestly,
like
I don't
it.
know what I'm doing.
Oh, and I heard something else.
Oh
I
no.
heard that
Yeah.
there's a special journey that you've been on in
Special.
this in your fiber journey. Care to share a little bit of that?
What are you talking about? What special journey?
Well, I don't have the whole background, but I know that sheep are also a big part of
Oh,
what you
yes.
do.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
personally, I had a chance to actually go and witness. And it
Soon
was a
you will be
nervous
a part of that,
experience for me, but
right? Right? Soon,
please share.
soon you will also be on that journey. Is that what you're telling me?
Oh boy. Are we able to go to commercial or
I'm
darn.
just saying I have the hookup.
Look at there.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, how it's just kind of a rabbit hole. It really is. And so my husband and I bought our property back in 2020 when everybody decided to just, get out of Dodge. And we have 5 acres and already had barns on it. And
Oh wow.
so I already knew when we moved here that when I had the bandwidth, I was going to get some sheep. And so this is now our second year with sheep.
Wow.
And we just had our second lambing season, and I have 6 little babies.
Oh,
And
congratulations.
they're adorable, so
Oh,
adorable. So we raise our sheep for meat and for fiber, and I'm keeping one of the babies as my little fiber buddy because he's so nice and silver already. So I raise Gotland sheep, and they are known for being very shiny, silver, curly haired sheep. So very excited. So we have 4 adults, and then the one lamb will be adding to the flock, and then I am about to purchase a registered ram,
wow.
which will be awesome. I'm excited for that.
That is incredible. Okay. If you will, if you would, share with us one of your most memorable moments so far.
Like in life.
You know, there are no boundaries. It can be life, it can be in the
Okay.
fiber community, or it could be both. Whatever you
Well,
like.
this will I guess is kind of both, and it's actually very recent, and it has to do with sorry, the sun is moving. It has to do with the sheep. Um, our very first lamb was breached, and it was a little bit scary because he was coming out butt first, but I got to deliver him, and that was an awesome moment.
That's amazing.
I will credit my 20 years in the ER for like not being squeamish about anything. So it was awesome to be part of that.
Wow. And so, if I might ask, I mean, did just your experience and your instincts kicked in? Because I mean, I
Yeah,
imagine that
she'd been
had to be
pushing
a
for a
pretty
while.
scary moment, huh?
Yeah, she had been pushing for a while and I wasn't seeing a whole lot
Oh.
of progress, so I got up in there and made it happen.
Well, I'm sure that was an amazing moment. Thank you for
It's
that.
not anything I ever thought I would ever do. But yeah, it was cool. He's
Do
the
you
one I'm
tend to have those kind of moments?
Yes, my whole life is a bunch of stuff I never thought I would do. Let's be honest.
And you did mention earlier, that you will just roll with it. So I mean, that sounds right.
It's
That
yeah,
sounds right.
pretty much.
Awesome. Okay. Okay. Now, we have to do the other extreme. What is one of your most embarrassing moments?
Um, I don't know. Honestly, I don't feel like I get embarrassed that easily.
I'm gonna go ahead and concur on that one.
I
Okay, that's
mean,
fair.
I mean,
Maybe something will pop in your head later.
probably I would say I'm a fairly introverted person, so sometimes my whole life can almost be embarrassing. But in general, no.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. So if there was one thing that the fiber community, the people watching, your supporters, if there was one thing that they could take away from this interview, what would that be that you'd want them to remember?
That I'm cool.
Heck yes. Heck yes.
Yes. I mean, it's been confirmed.
That's
I would
probably not
agree.
the answer you're going for.
There is no planned answer. This is real and raw, right?
Mhm.
So no, everything you say we appreciate. So don't worry about that. Next, tell me your time, like your time frame. How long have you been in this business?
Well, I started part-time in 2017.
2017.
And
Okay.
I was working 7 days on, 7 days off. So on
Wow.
my days off is when I would, you know, start doing my yarn. And I was dyeing in a tiny little kitchen on our kitchen stove, making a mess everywhere. So that was very, very, very part-time, because you know what it's like. You're working night shift in a hospital. Your free
Yes.
time is very valuable. So I was doing that, and then of course I got pregnant, had a kid in 2020, and the whole pandemic and everything. I was actually sent home from the hospital while I was pregnant, and they were like, "Don't come back." So
Okay.
I didn't come back even afterwards. And then that's when I more started dyeing. I'm still not dyeing full time, but a lot more than I was. And it's just in the last maybe 2 years that I've really started dyeing a lot. But I also have sheep now, so that's a whole other part of it. Just like learning the mills in the area and how to do that part. Uh, so I would say I started in 2017, but I really started in the last couple of years.
Okay. Sounds like you're extremely busy. It sounds like you have a lot going on.
Yeah.
What keeps you going? Because the hard work is there, the
Coffee.
stress, all that. What keeps you going?
Yeah, coffee.
Ah,
Lots and
it is
lots of
definitely
it.
the fiber community's one of their best friends.
Lots and lots of it.
And yeah, I've seen kits where you have your tools and all that stuff to use, like if you're knitting or crocheting or whatever. And then there's usually like a pack of coffee and like
Yeah.
something else in there, like a little snack. So yeah, that coffee is a huge part of this, I
I think
noticed.
I'm at like 3 espressos a day, which is probably more than I really should
Wow.
have.
How many shots in each?
At least two,
Oh,
sometimes three. But I'm up at like 5:30. So my first coffee is like 5:30 in the morning. I'm trying to like justify how much that I drink. I sound like an addict. No, really, it's not that bad.
only 3 cups.
Only three. I only have
I mean,
three.
that's normal for some, so
Yeah.
that's good. That's awesome. Um, what is your favorite thing about your role in the fiber community?
I have really enjoyed, and I've actually spoken to my husband about this. I've really been kind of blown away with the amount of women
Mhm.
that are in this industry.
Mhm.
Um, from everywhere from like just other dyers like Jess and business owners, and then moving on to like the mill owners and whoever I bought my sheep from. I have not dealt with one man. No
Oh,
offense,
wow.
but I've
No,
not dealt
don't
with
take
one
it.
man. And I've really appreciated that. Like it's been really interesting to just meet like so many other women that are doing this. And yeah, I think that has been the coolest part, honestly.
Any notable differences?
Between what?
Yeah, your interactions. Because I know you said most of the pretty much the whole time, you've dealt with other women,
Yeah, yeah,
right? And in your other life, obviously, you dealt with both.
yeah.
Are there any differences that are
I think for me, um, it helps me feel a little bit more like I can actually do what I'm doing.
ah
When I see other women doing it, not that I ever have doubted that we can do it, but it's just nice to see other people like you doing it. And then you're like, oh yeah, actually I'm not an imposter. I am doing this, you know, and it just feels like there's a little bit more of a, like, dare I say, a sisterhood.
I love it.
Um, just, I don't know. For me, that's how it helps me feel like I'm actually part of something and on an equal footing.
Awesome. That's a great answer. Oh, thank you for that. And so you know how we do, what's your least favorite thing?
About the fiber community,
Yep.
well, have I got some tea? No, I'm just kidding.
Get ready.
It can sometimes feel clicky.
Okay.
And I have not personally dealt with that much, but there have been a few times where I've definitely felt like maybe I wasn't quite in the cool group, you know, and that might also come with being in an industry that's mostly female driven. Just being honest.
Oh, we appreciate it. Trust me. Okay. So next 5 to 10 years, what's your goal?
I am going to hire someone to do all my shows and
Oh, wow.
do my, except for the ones I really want to do,
Mm.
and run my website and do my taxes and everything. And all I'm going to do is pet lambs and dye yarn.
Yes. I love it.
That is a great plan.
Yes.
And you know, I heard something you had said
Probably
a
not.
little bit earlier. You had said how, you know, you will go in there, you'll tackle it and you know you can do it. So I I would say that you're looking forward to that. Would that be a safe assessment? Because you're gonna do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, fair,
I
fair.
I I want to be the creative part behind it and leave the admin stuff to someone else.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Anything?
I have a question.
Madame?
So we learned a little about who you are in the fiber world, but tell us about who you were, like as a small bean, where you grew up. How did you get to be the person that you are today?
Well, I was born in Los Angeles,
Okay.
but
West Coast.
but I moved when I was 6. So I grew up in Kansas City. Best
Mhm.
barbecue. I don't care what anyone says. It is the
No
best.
argument here.
Go Chiefs. I'm sorry.
Oh, I
I'm
gotta go.
sorry. I know. I know you don't like that. So yeah, so I grew up in Kansas City, and I went to EMT school when I was 18.
Wow.
And so I did that for a while. I worked in an emergency room there. I moved to Australia
Oh, wow.
and I lived there for 4 years and I was an EMT there. My family actually still lives there. And then I came back so essentially I was in a hospital for 20 years of my life.
Oh,
And I
wow.
think that really helped kind of mold me a bit. Um, I tend to be a little no nonsense. And I do attribute that to
Yeah.
20 years of other people's, you know, issues. Um, and yeah, so yeah, my I've traveled a lot, which is really has been exciting. I just took my husband and my son to Australia this past summer,
Nice.
and that was their first time going overseas, so that was exciting.
Nice. So as someone who worked in ER, you know, you are very familiar with go time, right?
Yeah.
When it's time to go, nothing else matters. You know, we don't have time for nonsense and all that. It's time to get to work. So is that something you were able to kind of turn off in the fiber world, or is
No.
there still some go time in this?
Oh.
Yeah.
No. Um, there's been a lot of things that I have not been able to turn off from doing that for so long. I still get kind of like that, like pre-show jitters that I would get pre-shift.
Mm.
But like when I was working there, I knew my role, you know, so I knew what my job was. So I still have that those jitters, but nothing was like too surprising. Um, I'm getting used to not having to be like that anymore, you know?
Hmm.
Um, but yeah.
I imagine the stress has gone way down.
It's a different stress, but yes, yes, it has gone.
Explain, please.
Well, I'm a mom now.
Ah, different in
So
different ways, huh?
yes, yes. Like I was saying, like before I knew what was expected of me. I knew my job, even though if I knew not what a specific case coming in the door was going to be, I knew the range of possibilities and I knew what I was supposed to do in any of those scenarios. Now every day is like, I don't know what's happening today. Like, what mood are we in? I have no idea. Like, so my stress level in that I'm not in fight or flight
Hmm.
anymore has gone way down. But now I have, a different type of stress, but it's much more manageable.
At shows, is it pretty easy, to just kind of break down what you do with your customers versus, going into an ER room and introducing yourself to the patient? Is it how close is that, or is it really far away?
Um, it's it's close in that this is gonna sound terrible, and please don't anyone take this the wrong way.
Great.
I I am typically quite introverted, and so sometimes when I have to do shows a lot, it's mentally draining for me and emotionally draining, and I do sometimes feel like I'm performing, and I would I would feel like that as well in the hospital because I had to be a specific thing for
Hmm.
patients because they're the one having the emergency. So there would be a lot of like, putting this mask on and,
Yes.
getting through my shift. And I do occasionally feel that way, um, only because I have to like be on because I'm performing now. So there is that. Outside of that, they're two different worlds. Yeah, I always tell people it's different because people come to see me because they want to now. And
I
like
like that.
people are happy to see me now, and it's not the worst day of their life when they see me, so that part is much better. Yeah, they're happy to come in and they're like, oh my gosh, you're here, so that makes it totally different.
And then what do you do? What do you do to counter that feeling? When it's time to go, and what do you do? What's your method?
I listen to a lot of podcasts where I can zone out on the drive.
Ah,
I like to get rooms by myself so I don't have to talk to anyone after my shows. Not that I don't like people because I do, but it is mentally draining.
Yeah.
So I I I try to make sure that in the evenings I get that like time to just turn everything off.
and I would venture to say that for you, the total experience is important.
Yeah.
And what like tell us, like, for one of your customers, right? You, as the host, the owner, what do you do? Like, what's your technique to give your customers that full experience? This is what we do. I'm gonna give you the hard stuff.
You should have sent me a list of your questions so I could have vetted all of these. All right. What do I do? I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to that. Have you been to any of the shows where I've been at where I'm just kind of like, "Hi, I'm here. Do you like my yarn? Yay."
But no, but you know what? You don't, that's not your style. You have your own style. And it works because we've been lucky enough, to do some of these different shows and stuff with you.
Hmm.
And all I see is traffic coming in and out, in and out, in and out. That's what I see. So, you may not have that traditional style, but it's obviously working.
Fake
So,
it till you make it.
and it sounds like it's, I would venture to say it's just natural. We don't always have to plan everything out, right? Wouldn't you agree?
I don't plan anything. I don't I don't plan anything. I really don't. I really don't.
I have a question. Okay, so tell us about your first show.
Fiber Fusion 2018, I
Okay.
believe was my first show. Well, I know it was my first show. It was either 2018 or 2019. I think it was 18. I dragged my husband along, we had one table. I had a 5x10 booth. So that's all I had was a table. And I think I had like a wall unit or something. I might have brought 100 skeins. Like seriously, I was so new. I had my banner taped to the wall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I have this picture of my husband sitting at the table. I had walked away to do something and I come back and he's just like just so happy to be there. But then I left again and I come back and he's got like a line of ladies buying yarn from him. I'm like, seriously. Anyway, I always say he has to come to all my shows because he sells more yarn than I do. But yeah, so first show, that it is still my favorite. And I've done a lot of shows and it is still my favorite. Um yeah, I remember this lady, one of my very first customers, and I think this was the moment I realized like, oh, I can actually do this. This woman walked up to the table and she didn't say a word to me. And she just had this like face of like, I don't want to be here, don't bother me face. And she walked up and she grabbed a handful of yarn and she put it on the table and she handed me her card. And I remember she never said anything. She paid and she walked away. And I just remember looking at my husband like, what just happened? Did I just sell some yarn? Like a handful. And it just kind of blew my mind that somebody would actually want to buy that. So I've gotten better since then. So now like I like what I do. But yeah, that was that experience. And I have done that show every year since.
And it's almost time again.
I know, 2 weeks. I'm in the middle of a dying frenzy right now.
Same.
Like if you saw my craft room floor, you can't find the floor anymore because there's so much yarn on it. I actually have to go through and start labeling, or I'm so afraid I'm gonna get to like a day before the show and be like, I haven't labeled anything.
I've been there. It's not the place to be.
I know. There's piles. There's just piles everywhere. I have piles of yarn in bags on my front porch.
Yes. Yes.
Because I'm too lazy to carry them upstairs from the last show I did. So they're just sitting there. So I'm like, I'm just going to turn right around and put them right back in the car.
Right?
I'm the worst.
Go ahead.
So you talked about dyeing yarn. We know you have sheep.
I do.
What else do you do? What other fiber arts do you do?
Well, I don't know if you consider this a fiber art. It is fiber related, I think.
Good enough.
I tan hides.
I love it. Tell us more.
So I tan sheepskins. I've done a rabbit, I've done a deer, and I've done a lot of sheep. I did my first 2 lambs last year, and Jess has one of them.
You do?
I love it. I love it more than dyeing yarn, if I'm being truthful.
How come?
I like knowing that I can help these animals once they've passed continue to be something beautiful.
I
So,
love that.
and I love that I've had a few farmers bring me their beloved sheep and that have passed, and they want to get the skin back so that they can keep something from them. And so that has been very special for me to be able to do that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And the fact that I'm raising these lambs from literally like for some of them having to deliver them. It's just nice to know that not any of them is ever going to just go to waste.
Yeah,
So I enjoy being able to do that.
absolutely. And so how long have you been tanning hides?
3 years.
Wow.
This is my 3rd year, yeah.
And I imagine, there may have been a few in the other world too, huh? Because that tanning hides, has many definitions.
My hide was tanned many times as a child.
It's a give and take type of
Getting
thing.
that. I finally understand what that means, where that came from. Oh man, the lambs are talking now.
Oh,
I don't know that you'll be able to see them. They're a bit far
Oh, the
A bit far
baby.
out. They're
Oh,
over here walking in.
Aw.
You probably there's one.
yep. Oh my goodness.
Nice. Look at that. That's some
Those
great
babies.
stuff. Look at that timing.
They're
That's great.
walking in for dinner. They're probably going to start letting me know here pretty soon.
So you had mentioned a little bit ago about your husband inspiring people to buy yarn.
No, what?
So spousal support in this. What is that rate for you?
Pretty high. Pretty high. Yeah. He doesn't
How long
complain.
has he been involved?
I have dye all over the porch. He doesn't say anything.
Sounds familiar.
He's kind of used to the fact that my hobbies are taking over the house. But to be fair, he can't say much. He's got his own hobbies. And
Oh,
mine are a lot cheaper. So
Oh. I would concur.
he has
I
all the
would concur.
motorcycles. He has all the motorcycles. So my yarn is a lot cheaper and safer. So I don't get a lot of complaints about my hobby.
So what are some different ways that he's been supportive?
Well, in the beginning, he came to all my shows, and he hasn't now since, our son's older. Someone's got to watch the kids. So I guess in a way, he's still supporting me by staying home with our son so that I can do all these things. And he's never made me feel like it was not something I should do. He's been like morally supportive, which has been awesome, honestly.
And thank you for saying that. And it means a lot. I think that's pretty special,
Yeah.
that you guys are able to, to share your, your love, your talents and stuff. It's not as common as people might think. So salute to you guys. That's really cool. And it's quite inspiring. So that's
It
awesome.
is pretty awesome. And he even was funny, you should bring him up today. So he works from home. He works for a tech company. And so he's on his computer all the time. And they have like these little chat rooms. And one of the chat rooms is for people showing their hobbies. And there's like a lot of women in the group that are like, oh, look at my stash. Look at my stash. And he's like, I almost went upstairs and took a picture of yours. I was like, don't do that. They'll be so jealous. They won't be able to see the floor. Like, it's not fair. Mine is a business.
I love it. Oh. So you have a stash too.
Yeah.
Just your yarn, or do you have also a stash?
I do not consider my yarn stash.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Unless I pulled some skeins out to keep for myself. But
Yep.
my stash is 100% everybody else.
How big is your stash?
Those like I have so here's another way my husband has supported me. He built me a wall built-in for my
Oh,
stash. And so it is floor to ceiling, wall to wall, 12 by 12 cubbies.
wow.
And yeah, he built the whole thing. And so I would say oh, here he comes. Do you want to come say hi? Do you want to come say hi? Oh no, did she escape?
Oh no.
We have an escapee lamb.
Oh no.
So I would say my stash. Oh, here they go. Do you hear that? There's yelling. I would say it feels about half of the wall down.
Nice. Okay.
Not nice. I'm gonna have a de-stash sale soon because it's too much.
Okay.
I've forgotten what I have.
So what do you? So you knit. How
Yeah.
many projects do you have?
Right now?
Mm-hmm.
One.
Oh my gosh.
I'm a monogamous knitter. But I am
Wow.
going to cast on something else because the one project I have going on is a cable knit sweater for Jake, and he's 6'5",
Oh.
and that will take me 2 or 3 years. So I work on it for a little while, and then I put it away and do other things, and then I come back to it. So
I love
currently
that.
that is the only thing I have on the needles. I did just finish a baby blanket for my sister because she just had a baby.
Very nice.
Oh.
How long have you been knitting?
I don't know.
Okay.
I know. I know I learned as a kid. But when I moved to Washington State in December of 2009,
Mm-hmm.
and I was really depressed for a long time. And so I started knitting then, and I have a surprise for you guys.
Oh my
Oh, wow.
yeah.
How you doing,
Oh
sir?
my goodness.
Hello, how you doing?
All right.
Oh, how sweet.
Wow.
This
Tell me
little
about this
guy,
exclusive stuff, man. I told you.
this little guy is
He's the youngest one.
4 weeks,
4 or 5, yeah.
4 or 5 weeks old.
Oh,
goodness.
wow.
And he's one of the smallest ones. The other ones are almost 50
He's
pounds.
He's heavy stuff.
He's probably what, 25, 30 pounds?
30, 35,
Yeah.
40. He's pretty heavy.
His face.
how
Oh my
sweet.
God.
Does he have a name?
Tandoori, maybe?
Oh,
What a treat.
oh, I love it.
Vindaloo, lamb chop, I don't know.
Oh, how
Oh my
adorable.
goodness.
Yeah, I
Wow.
think this is the one who, when I would sit on the grass and he would come over and just get in my lap.
Oh.
Oh, look at that face.
I know.
There you go.
Oh.
I'm hungry.
Oh my
You
goodness.
saw it here, folk. You saw it here first.
Oh my
They're
goodness.
so soft too.
Oh, how
Both
sweet.
been so long.
I know.
Thank you guys so much. What a great moment, man.
Right?
Thank you.
Hi, buddy.
What a great moment.
That big old belly. Oh my goodness. He's already got a fat belly on him. They're dense. Those things are heavy.
Eating good in the neighborhood, I see.
They have been eating very good.
Oh my gosh, that is wonderful.
What a treat.
Are they all super friendly?
Most of them are. So one of our ewes is very she's not unfriendly, she's just very untrusting of people.
Mhm.
And she has taught her twins to also be untrusting. So
Oh.
those two, they just kind of stay back. They come over when it's time to eat, but that's about it. The rest of them are pretty friendly. They'll come over and let you scratch their head. And
Oh.
I'm working on one of them, Dexter, the one that we're gonna keep. That was not Dexter.
Mhm.
Dexter is who we're gonna keep, and so I'm kind of trying to work on him and get him more like pet-like. I found him in the kitchen the other day.
Oh my goodness. Are you serious?
Well, he's best friends with the dog, and the dog
Okay.
came in the kitchen, and so he came in the kitchen. I turned around, and he's standing there in the middle of the kitchen floor looking at me. Like, no.
He was
I
ready
love
for
it.
his snack.
He was. I mean, he was eating out of the dog dish. They're best friends. They are best friends. They ram each other in the head for fun.
Oh.
It's really
Wow.
is. Yeah. We like to joke that between those two, our other male sheep and our male cat, there's one brain cell. And they just swap it around. They swap it around and they share it with each other.
Oh my goodness.
And that's Fergus I'm talking about.
Oh.
Good old Fergus.
Fergus the cat. He's out here somewhere too. He was stalking me a minute ago.
What else do you have out there?
Mhm.
Animal ways?
Yeah,
Chickens?
maybe you got some other stuff.
Just chickens. Yeah. We have, how many chickens we have? 18.
Wow.
18 chickens and a rooster. And then 4 adult sheep and 6 babies. And then a dog and 2
Idiot.
cats.
Idiot.
Oh yeah, here's Fergus.
Oh my
Aw.
goodness. Too
This episode is just becoming meet all Selah's animals.
big. Oh my goodness.
Boy, he's beautiful though.
Oh, but you can definitely see Remy in the eyes.
No doubt.
Yeah,
You have like that
he does.
like crazy eye look.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
That's the one that will climb the trees and stuff? Is
Oh
that
yeah. He
right?
brings the birds. He brought a bird in the house yesterday or the day before yesterday.
Okay, well, who was it for though? Like, was it for his
It was
buddy
for
or for
him.
one of you
It was
guys?
for him. He was trying to find a place to put it down.
Oh,
He just walks through the house with his bird in his mouth. I'm like, oh my gosh, no. Go back outside.
Okay, so what next are you going to add to Animal Kingdom? Okay, top secret.
Oh, that's too loud. I want a donkey.
Oh, I love it.
good luck with that.
They're good flock protectors.
That's what I've heard.
Say that again, Ginger. They're what?
They're good protectors for the herd or for all
The
the
only
sheep.
thing,
Yeah.
the only thing is I have heard that they're really good protectors against coyotes, but they don't differentiate between coyotes and dogs.
Oh.
Until I can get like, shh, he's out here. until I can get better fencing. I want to talk about it while he's here. He told
What
me I
about a
can't have
llama?
one. They
Llamas are supposed to be really good too.
they spit. So I don't know. I almost got spit on by a llama once. It was a little traumatizing. Maybe alpacas. Maybe alpacas.
I don't know if they're as good at protectors. I mean, they'd be fun to have though.
Mm-hmm. You know what else I would really like? But my husband has said no. He also said no about all the other animals, but here we are. A Highland cow.
Oh,
Yes.
that would be
I
life
would
changing.
love it. Oh my gosh. Meet the other cat.
Oh, how
The little
cute.
girl. This is Esme. She is not about people, really.
Esme, hold on. I have a question. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
She's also like 9 years old, so she's
Aw.
she's had it with people.
So it is 6:41. So if you have questions, I'm going to have you drop them in the chat. And this is a great time to do a contest.
I didn't know there was a chat on.
Oh, yeah.
I don't Zoom.
That's okay. All right, so let's think of a good question. So first, let's talk about the prize winner. So the winner of this contest will win 2 beautiful skeins. Do you want to share them? Look at those. They're fingering weight. And what's the base?
It is merino nylon.
Nice. Those are beautiful. And so, that's a good question. I think,
How about this? What is something like you look back at your journey, right? Is there something that you wish you would have done at this point that you didn't do? And maybe you'll try to fit in at some point? Because I'm gonna come with the hard stuff, so you
I
should be used to this by
know.
now.
I know. Let's see. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't. I think I've done everything that I've wanted to do.
Because like for example, like for us, something I would say would be like, for example, labeling, right?
Mhm.
Planning meetings, that
Yeah.
sort of thing. It really makes a difference. Because what it does is it allows you to plan, right? For your
Mhm.
show. It allows you to get organized. It allows you to pack properly, right? So you don't just throw everything in a bin and run, right?
That's what I do.
Because
Are
see,
you saying that because you know that's what I do?
oh no. And if I did know, it wouldn't be my fault.
It's true though. That's what I do. You know what I do?
Go ahead.
I open the bag and I go,
also, I'm just
and then
gonna
I go,
share,
peace, and I leave.
Selah is who I learned the whole bag thing from. Because I used to do totes and all my organized bags, and I saw
Yeah.
you, I'm like, oh, where's the bags at? Where's the bags at? Yes.
But just what we've learned is it when you're there, you're building your station, you get everything set up. It's so much easier when you got all of your merino over here and the all those percentages. I don't know all that stuff, but I remember merino though. Look at that.
You did good.
Pat on the back.
Yeah.
But it just really helps you to set up easier and quicker, and it keeps you organized. That's just something that we didn't do in the beginning. We're trying to, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so for our prize winners, the first person who can drop in the chat, Selah's approach to things, wins the prize.
Quiz
That's
time.
easy enough. That is easy
Pop
enough.
quiz.
While we wait for that, we do have a couple of questions. So, close, but she definitely has a phrase that she goes by. So,
And it's not tanning hides. Okay.
it's
No.
all right. So Sam's question is, do you have a favorite colorway, including discontinued or limited/exclusive?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Scarecrow. Scarecrow is
Oh.
my favorite because I use the same, okay. I was gonna say I use the same formula. I don't really write down my formulas. I do, but I don't. Like, I write down the color I'm gonna use, but I know a lot of people weigh it out and they're like very, very particular about it. I am not. That being said, I use the same general formula for this color every year, and every year it looks completely different. And that is what I like about it. So that is my favorite.
Nice. Thank you. All right, still looking for oh yeah, just wing it. Love it. Sam, well done.
These are yours.
We will get those sent your way. Next question, do you have a bucket list or master goal as a fiber dyer?
Yes. This is a goal of mine. Right now, most of my yarn I source from an East Coast mill that sources from Peru. One of my goals is to start bringing in more USA grown and milled wools. And so right now, this past year, I brought in a 100% Rambouillet sport weight from a ranch in Northern California.
Nice.
And this summer, I'll be bringing in my own yarn from my own flocks. That will
Woohoo!
be 3 bases I will have that are local to the area, USA grown and milled. And so a big goal of mine is to have at least equal the commercially spun, kind of like what you're used to seeing with indie dyer yarn, and then more local, more rustic farm yarns. And what I love about it is every time I order from this ranch in California, she calls me and thanks me for ordering from her, and that's just fantastic.
Yes.
And yeah, I love that part of it. So I'm trying to incorporate more of that into the business.
I love that. That's awesome. Okay.
Have you been you've mentioned several times, you go, right? You trust your instincts, you don't have, a lot of people have like this elaborate plan, and this outline of how they work. You don't do that.
I wish I had. I don't.
So my question is this. So needless to say, that's not the norm, right? A lot of people have a lot of structure. So what is it that gave you the courage to do it that way? Because it's not conventional, but it's great.
I don't think it occurred to me not to.
It's natural.
Yeah, and I hate to keep going back to like my previous life, but I do think there's a reason I was drawn to working in an ER where, I could have done something different. I tried different things and I got bored and I went back to the ER. So I think I know. So I think I was just more naturally drawn to just unexpected things and less structure, and I just feel more comfortable doing that. When I've tried to be more structured, I get bored really fast. And then it becomes a job and then I don't want to do it. So for me to keep me wanting to do it, I just wing it essentially and don't really structure anything. I should be more structured for sure, but I haven't gotten there yet. And this is working out for me so far, so.
Love it. All right, we've got 10 minutes left. Share with us, how do we find your yarn? Where do we find you at? What do you have on the books? What's coming?
So I'll be at Fiber Fusion first weekend in June, I believe, or it might be the second weekend, 6, 7, and 8, something like that. And then I will also be at Makers Mercantile at the end of the month.
Nice.
End of June. And then I am taking all of July off. I'm going on a fishing trip to Alaska, so I will not be here.
I love it.
Doing a lot of dyeing. And then I have Flock in August and the Pacific Northwest Fiber Expo in October.
Outstanding. So what should we be looking for at those shows? Will you have some custom colorways? I heard you say new
I
pictures.
should.
Okay.
Well, I will have my new logo at Fiber Fusion, and I'll have new stickers with cool little cryptid people, and that will be fun. And then I am going to try to do some custom colorways for most of those events.
That is outstanding. Thank you.
So one of those Just Wing It t-shirts going to be on sale.
I know, right?
With Mothman on it.
Yes.
See? Exactly. Exactly.
Mothman's just winging it.
I'll buy one. So I'm just saying.
Idea. That's an idea.
2X, hint, 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 2X.
Oh my goodness. Is there anything that you want to share before we wrap up?
I just want to say thank you for having me on here and convincing me to do it.
No, thank you so much for joining us. It is amazing to hear your story and to have you share. And thank you for sharing all of your animals with us.
Oh,
And
there's many
I
more.
love it.
So many
That was a
more.
real treat right there.
We're gonna
Thank you.
be here all night.
That was a real treat.
Oh, all right. So it is 6:51. If there's any more questions, you guys take advantage of this time with Selah. It is rare. It is rare.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. I have a question. So you talked about your favorite colorway. Is there anything that you don't like to dye?
Yes. You know that.
I do.
But I feel like I'm starting to change a little bit. I don't like neons and pastels, but
Mhm.
I did do a neon custom color for B-Town yarn. And I actually really liked it. I did really like it.
It was spectacular.
I might do maybe I'll do a little more. We'll see.
All right. I'm gonna keep my eye out because I would love to have a
I
neon.
have ideas.
Right.
I have ideas.
Okay.
We'll
Okay.
incorporate some. They're yelling at me. I have some ideas, so we'll see.
Okay. That's
I have a
exciting.
whole shelf of neon and fluorescent dyes that have been sitting there for like 3 years. Because for a while there, I was like, I'm gonna get on this trend and I'm gonna dye all the neon Barbie yarns.
Oh, yes.
And I did one and I was like, no, that's not me. But this last one I did actually really liked. So
Yeah, it turned out spectacular.
I had to like cover it in black to make me like it, but it worked out. It worked out.
It did. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, thank you again for joining us. I appreciate it so much. So we will transition to the rest of the time as our meetup. So everyone is welcome to unmute themselves. Selah, you are welcome to stay on if you choose. And thank you very much. It's been wonderful.
I'll stay for a few minutes and then I got